This is one of the most easiest sets of DI in data interpretation section of this mock. This is a must attempt set while taking the test, as here no logic as such is involved. We have got some data and to do some manipulation and calculation in order to answer the questions. Here we have JMS and PMS as two institutes that cater coaching for a prestigious exam, AIEA, conducted for admission to management institutes. The admission process consists of a written test followed by an interview, which means it is a two phase process. First one is written exam and second one is interview. Only those students who clear the written test get called for interview from various management institutes. So call is dependent on your performance in written tests. The number of calls may vary from 1 to 6 depending upon the performance in the written test. If anybody clears the interview, then his or her calls are said to be converted, that is, he or she gets finally selected to a management institutes. So number of calls can vary from 1 to 6 depending on the performance in the written test, and anybody who clears the interview finally gets selected in a management institute. And it is also known that no students who enroll with one of the two institutes does not enroll with the other institute. The chart below shows the enrolled students data for the two coaching centers for the period 2010 to 14. The chart is given on the next slide. Here in the chart, this bar is for the JMS. So from the chart we can say that the number of students with JMS in 2010 was 4.7 into 1000, because all these figures are in thousand, and the number of students with PMS in the same year was 4.6 into 1000. Similarly, we can see the number of students with these two institutes for the remaining 4 years of the period. Now coming to the table shows the call status of students at the coaching centers during the given period. First thing in the chart is total number of students who got interview calls, and these figures are for both the institutes. Like in 2010, the number of students who got call from JMS was 120, and that of those who got call and were from PMS was 109. And similarly, we can check these figures for other years as well. Now coming to the second info, number of students who got more than 3 interview calls from JMS was 68, and from PMS 47, and number of students who converted their calls from JMS was 79. So one thing can be noted here, number of students who got more than 3 interview calls for JMS is 68, and the number of students who converted their calls from JMS in 2010 was 79, which means calls are converted by both categories of students. First, who who got more than 3 calls, and second, who got 3 or lesser number of calls. So the information given in the table can easily be understood. Now one parameter is defined here, and it is strike rate, final number of students who converted their calls upon total number of students who got calls into 100. So it's not something that would require too much effort to understand. Now come to the questions. In which year the strike rate of JMS was maximum? From the table we can easily check it. Like, strike rate of JMS in 2010 was 79 upon 122 into 100, and we can calculate strike rate for other years as well. For 2011 it is 77 upon 117 into 100. For 2012 it is 68 upon 121 into 100. For 2013 it is 75 upon 112 into 100, and for 2014 it is 76 upon 114 into 100. So basically we have to check the value of ratio of number of students who converted their calls upon the total number of students who got interview calls, and on the observation we can see that this ratio is the highest for 2013. Therefore option C is the required answer. Come to the next question. For how many years during the period 2010 to 14 was the strike rate of PMS better than the strike rate of JMS? So in this problem we have to find a strike rate of PMS as well as JMS, and we know how to calculate a strike rate. So let's do it. For PMS, the strike rate in 2010 was 62 upon 109 into 100. In 2011 it is 81 upon 119 into 100. In 2011 69 upon 129 into 100. In 2012 13 it is 71 upon 102 into 100. In 2014 it is 63 upon 114 into 100. Now calculate the same for JMS that we have already calculated in the previous question. It is 79 upon 122 into 100 for 2010. For 2011 it is 77 upon 117 into 100. For 2012 68 upon 121 into 100. For 2013 it is 75 upon 112 into 100, and for 2014 it is 76 upon 114 into 100. Here we just need to compare these figures for the two institute in each of the given 5 years, and we do not need to calculate their value, just need to make the comparison on the basis of estimation. After having a look at the figures of 2010, we can say that strike rate of PMS in 2010 was not more than that of JMS, but next year it was certainly more than that of JMS, as it has greater value in numerator and lesser value in denominator. For 2012, the strike rate of PMS is less than that of JMS. For 2013, again strike rate of PMS is more than that of JMS, and for next year strike rate of PMS will be less than that of JMS. So there were only 2 years during the given period when the strike rate of JMS was more than that of PMS. Therefore option B is the correct answer. In this problem, it is assumed that the students who got more than 3 calls converted their calls. Then in which year during the period 2010 to 14 did the maximum number of students who got 3 or less than 3 calls convert their calls, considering the students from both the coaching centers together. So from the table it can be seen that the number of students who converted their calls and had less or equal to 3 calls was 79 minus 68, that is 11, because it is given that all those students who got more than 3 calls converted their calls. So the number of students who got less than or equal to 3 calls and converted their calls will be 79, that is total number of converts minus number of students who got more than 3 calls, it is 11. Similarly we can calculate this figure for other years as well, and it will be 14 for 2011, 15 for 2013, sorry 2012, 13 for 2013 and 15 for 2014. Similarly for PMS, 15 for 2011, 19 for 2012, 17 for 2012, 13 for 2013 and 14 for 2014. So just we need to find the sum of converts of those students who got less than or equal to 3 calls for the given years. In first year it is 26, that is 2010. In 2011 it is 33. In 2013 to 12 it is 32. In 2013 it is 26, and 2014 it is 29. Therefore the number of students who got call from 3 or more, who got 3 or more interview call converted their call was maximum in 2011, and it was equal to 33. Therefore option D is the correct answer. Coming to the last question of this set, here it is asking what is the absolute difference between the average annual number of students enrolled with two coaching centers during the given 5-year period. So first of all, calculate the total number of students with JMS. It is 4700 in 2010, 3900 in 2011, 5700 in 2012, 6030 in 2013, and 5420 in 2014. Therefore the total number of students who studied are enrolled with JMS during the given 5 years will be sum of these 5 figures, and it comes out to be 25,980, and average annual number of students enrolled with JMS during the given period will be 1/5 of this, and it is 5196. Similarly, we can calculate the annual or average annual number of students enrolled with PMS, and it comes out to be 5138. Now we have to find the absolute difference between these two figures, and it comes out to be 58. Therefore option C is the correct answer.